Okay, so I just put some slides together based on this article just to kind of show you some of the information that I pulled. I'm a visual learner, so sometimes I have to do it like this. So this article talks a little bit about the history of carbohydrates from the 1900s all the way to 2004. And so this was just the information I pulled. So in the 1900s, carbs are a good fuel source and so forth. And you guys can read through those. The research in the 2000s has grown a bunch, so about 20 grams an hour improved performance, about 16 grams an hour improved endurance capacity by 14%, and more than 60 grams per hour has no additional effect on performance. So American College of Sports Medicine recommends 30 to 60 grams per hour. So you can think about that. If you were running a marathon, for instance, you would need anywhere between 30 and 60 grams of carbohydrates. One way to look at that is look at your energy bars and see how many grams of carbohydrates are in an energy bar, so you can get an idea on what that looks like. During exercise performance, um, for exercise longer than 2 hours, it prevents hyperglycemia, maintains high rate of carbohydrate oxidation. Oxidation basically means is how much that carbohydrate is being broken down, and then increases endurance capacity. High intensity, greater than 75% of VO2 max carbs can, if you infusion of glucose, basically putting glucose straight into the circulatory system, has no performance effect, and mouthwash with carbs improve performance effect. So there's this nice sentence in here that says carbohydrate feeding during exercise are not confined to its conventional metabolic advantage, but may also contribute to more positive afferent signal capable of modifying motor output. It's a big sentence, and what does it mean? So in essence, basically it's saying that carbohydrates may signal the central nervous system in order to generate a greater motor output, or in other words, generate more muscle contraction. Prolonged exercise, exogenous or external carbohydrates, in other words, carbohydrates that you are consuming, are limited by intestinal absorption. So your body can only absorb a certain amount of carbohydrates over a certain amount of time. During exercise, there's a dose response, so the amount you take, what kind of an effect. Greatest performance improvements, again, 60 to 80 grams per hour. So when you think about this, think about people that you are working with and training. How many carbohydrates do I need if I'm running a marathon? That's going to give you a pretty good idea. Carb intake during different events depends on intensity, depends on the sport, also the type of carbohydrates a person should be consuming. Carb use is the same both in trained versus untrained individuals. And then exercise intensity, oxidation rates, oxidation of carbs plateaued at 60 to 74% of VO2 max. And then, of course, higher intensity equals a greater carb need.